On this episode of the Turnbuckle, Vince McMahon immediately started working on WWE's Saudi Arabia deal after his retirement. There are new reports disputing the story about WWE being sold to Saudi Arabia, and Stephanie McMahon resigns from her position as co-CEO of WWE. I have to hurry because apparently new news is coming out, folks. We're hitting your favorite wrestling move into some wrestling news because it's time, quick, for the Turnbuckle. Well, speaking on Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer discussed WWE's potential deal with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and when Vince McMahon might have started working on it. It was noted that Vince McMahon got to work on the deal right after he retired last year. One thing that we do know is that ever since Vince was ousted, he did open up talks with the Saudis. I mean, this didn't come in the last week. His coming back was obviously to close the deal that perhaps the people who are running the company, for all the reasons we were talking about, probably felt uneasy about the deal closing because they are perhaps looking out for the long-term future of their company and their own asses too. So that's another layer. Obviously, the people on the board, Nick Khan and Triple H, who voted one way before to keep Vince McMahon out of the board of directors, and they voted another way today. WWE has reportedly agreed on their sale with Saudi Arabia in principle, so the deal is not finalized just yet. That being said, the deal might be done by the end of this week. If so, WWE Talent will have to deal with a lot of changes. So this dropped. I don't even know when this dropped. I don't specifically know when this dropped. Shout out to Ango. Shout out to Ango, man. Go follow him on YouTube, man. This guy is, I saw his video and my first reaction was what a shame, you know, doing clickbait for the video. How dare he? And then I saw Wrestle Talk's video and I was like, uh-oh. So I was on Reddit yesterday and I was looking at some of the bullet points of what Sean Ross Sapp was talking about. And he was saying how like a bunch of people were just going to start walking out if that was the case. Now, again, it's not, I have to keep saying this. The deal has not been finalized. According to the reports, WWE has, I guess, agreed to it. So I guess they're like, look, man, I'm done. Okay, I'm good to go. I got really nothing to worry about. All right. And I guess Saudi Arabia, I don't know. I don't necessarily know. I don't know. And then they were talking about how WWE is going back to like a private company. So then everybody was talking about how, oh, well, Saudi Arabia doesn't really have anything to worry about because now, okay, look, I am not, what's his name? Oh my God, what is his name? Kramer. It's like Jimmy Kramer. I forget his name, but he's like a stocks guy. I don't know the difference between a publicly traded company and a privately traded company. I just know that it has something to do with like investors and shareholders and stuff like that. That's about as much as I know. And from what it sounds like Saudi Arabia buying WWE and then turning it into a privatized company necessarily means that they don't have to worry too much about my voice. That is going to change a lot of different things going forward in terms of WWE. And then like, was that? I don't think that was in the report. I've read like 4 different articles before I started, so I'm so all over the place, man. Dave Meltzer was like, oh, are we gonna start seeing more Saudi Arabian propaganda? Because you know how like when they would do like the Crown Jewel pay-per-views, you would see Saudi Arabian propaganda play before like the show and stuff like that. Are we going to see more of that? You know what I mean? Vince, what are you doing? What is wrong with you? I can't stay on this because I'm going to be here for the next 8 years, okay? And we have more stuff to talk about. So I'm just going to wrap it up by saying I cannot believe this is happening. It hasn't been finalized yet. So everything right now is still up in the air and the only time will tell what's going to happen. Next, new reports dispute the story about WWE being sold to Saudi Arabia. 2 reports came out last night claiming WWE is being sold to Saudi Arabia's public investment fund are now under assault, as multiple sources have come forward this morning to dispute the claim. Last Tuesday evening, Cassidy Hayes of BodySlam.net and Steve Muehlhausen of DAZN reported that WWE sold to the Saudis with the intent for the company to go private again instead of being publicly traded. Muehlhausen's tweet has since been deleted, and Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful was unable to confirm the rumors. Additionally, several reports now claim there is no truth to the story, most notably Ariel Helwani of BT Sport. Contrary to the report stating otherwise, last night there was no deal in place at this precise moment for WWE to be sold to Saudi Arabia's public investment fund or any entity, sources say. Helwani tweeted, "The organization is still exploring all options, I'm told, developing." I asked someone at WWE who would know, who said the story that took hold of Twitter last night about WWE and Saudi Arabia being a near deal to take the company private is untrue, wrote WrestleNomics' Brandon Thurston. Thurston was himself responding to a tweet by Richard Greenfield of the media research from Lightshed Partners, who called out Muehlhausen's deleted tweet as 100% false. Sportscaster John Alba, who co-hosts several prominent wrestling podcasts, also said this morning that a, quote, high-ranking WWE source with knowledge of the situation called the reports completely false. Speculation started swirling not long after Stephanie McMahon announced the resignation as co-CEO of WWE, and the company is certainly feeling the winds of change with Vince McMahon making his return as the executive chairman of the board. That said, it appears that as of this writing, no sale to the Saudis or anyone else has taken place. I don't know what to think about this. I don't know if this is something that we should be considering to be true at some point. I have no idea. I don't know where this is about to go. The day hasn't even bloody started yet, technically speaking. I mean, it has. I mean, it starts like 9 o'clock, so there are reports saying that this was already in the works, and now there's reports coming out saying that literally nothing that was being said on Twitter yesterday was actually true. It's hard. I have no idea what to think, and I guess we just have to wait until the end of the week just to really see what's going to happen. Finally, Stephanie McMahon resigns her position as co-CEO of WWE. Less than a week after Vince McMahon came out of retirement and reinstated himself to WWE's board of directors, his daughter, Stephanie McMahon, has stepped down as co-CEO of the company. Stephanie announced her decision via Twitter on Tuesday evening. In the statement, she recalled returning to WWE last year to serve as the co-CEO alongside Nick Khan, which she described as a privilege. However, now that her father has returned to guide the company in collaboration with Khan and Triple H, she believes that WWE is in a perfect position to deliver, quote, unparalleled creative content and drive maximum value for shareholders. In the statement, McMahon acknowledges her previous leave of absence, which she was undertaking before Vince stepped down as CEO amid his sexual misconduct and hush money scandals. However, it seems that Stephanie's latest absence will be more permanent, as she announced her unofficial resignation and revealed that she'll be, quote, cheering on WWE from the other side of the business. Following Stephanie's announcement, WWE put out a press release that included thoughts from her father. First, I'd like to express my full support for Stephanie's personal decision. I'll forever be grateful that she offered to step in during my absence, and I'm truly proud of the job she did co-leading WWE, Vince said. Stephanie has always been the ultimate ambassador for our company, and her decades of contributions have left an immeasurable impact on our brand. Per WWE's release, Khan will serve as the company's CEO moving forward. According to Vince, Khan's, quote, business acumen and mastery of the media industry have helped catapult our business to record revenue and profitability. And he looks forward to working with him as WWE explores, quote, strategic alternatives during this critical juncture in the company's history. I would be remiss if I did not talk about the similarities between her resigning and then WWE selling to Saudi Arabia. You know what I mean? And then I think it was Pete, he was on Wrestle Talk, Pete Quinnell, he was talking about how, you know, Saudi Arabia doesn't necessarily favor women all that much, so maybe Stephanie stepped down because, you know, she had to because of the whole Saudi Arabia deal. Now, I don't know, all right, again, none of this stuff is even true at the time of this recording, okay? Jeez Louise, I could stop the record button right now and, like, 4 different news stories could come out. But, I mean, again, obviously, you know, I was gonna say you hate to hear it, but, like, is that really a bad thing? It's just Stephanie McMahon, you know, crossing over to like a different chapter in our life, and you know, there's like nothing really to talk about it, you know. But again, hopefully she's happy, man. That's really all I'm worried about, is that like this whole situation isn't like stressing her out, you know what I mean? But it's really hard to say. Again, no new reports have come out, so I mean, until then, there's only so much that we can talk about. What did we talk about? So Vince was talking to Saudi Arabia about the deal during his retirement. Yeah, this happened like during his retirement, which is confusing when you talk about the next topic, which the new reports dispute WWE about being sold, and they're saying how it isn't even remotely true. Now, again, the sale hasn't been finalized, so I mean, you could technically run around and say that this isn't actually real until the sale's actually finalized. So it's, again, I have no idea what to think. I don't know where to put anything. I'm so confused. And Stephanie McMahon resigns as her position. Now, again, that has nothing to do with Saudi Arabia, and I don't want anybody, I mean, you're going to obviously, but I don't want anybody to be like, oh, it's because of Saudi Arabia. Now, we don't know, but it's pretty easy to speculate that that's not actually the case, all right? So listen, again, Stephanie, if you're watching this, and I know you are, all right, hopefully you have a wonderful time. I don't really know, because I mean, you're chilling, you're not really like doing anything, you know, you resign, you're good to go. I mean, you don't really have to worry about anything, you know, just relax. I don't know if she has children or not. I genuinely don't know. It's none of my business anyway, folks. All right. On that note, man, I'm going to end this episode here. Hopefully everybody has a wonderful tonight and a wonderful tomorrow. As always, big hugs. Big hugs all around.